Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Marr. That noise you're hearing is my ventilator. And welcome to Page Turners They Were Not My Star Wars podcast. Today we conclude cataloging all the major planets in the Star Wars films. That is, of course, until The Rise of Skywalker comes out. And we conclude with the planet Savareen in Solo, A Star Wars Story. So let's jump right into the story of what happens at Savareen. After Tobias, Beckett, and Han Solo lost their shipment of coaxium they stole from the train on Vandor, they needed a way to make up the loss to Dryden Vos. Han suggested that they get it from Kessel, which they did, using, of course, the Millennium Falcon with Lando Calrissian's help. And after retrieving the coaxium from Kessel, they made the Kessel Run in record time, using, of course, the navicomputer from the destroyed L337, who lives on as part of the Millennium Falcon. Together, they were able to calculate a new route through the Acades Maelstrom in record time, bringing the legend, or the legendary story of the Millennium Falcon, making the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. Mind you, Han Solo never said he made the Kessel Run. He said the Falcon did. Some people are a little confused on that point. But the tricky thing about harvesting the coaxium directly from Kessel is it's unrefined, therefore unstable and might explode. And we saw, of course, what happened when it exploded on Vandor. So what they needed is to get unrefined coaxium and get it to a place where it could be refined before it exploded. This destination was Savareen, which had the proper facilities to refine the coaxium. Now, of course, this caused a significant amount of damage to the Millennium Falcon, flying at record speed through the Maelstrom. But they arrived, of course, at Savareen. Now, here's where things, I think, get very interesting. On Savareen, they meet some people who don't say a word to them. And then, of course, as fate would have it, Enfys Nest shows up. She and her cohorts had put a tracking homing beacon on the Falcon and followed them to Savareen. Now, in the confrontation, Beckett says of Enfys Nest and her crew, they're marauders. All they know how to do is kill. To which Enfys Nest removes her helmet to reveal the face of a kid, of a child, basically. Maybe barely 20 years old. This comes as a shock to not only us, the audience, but to our main characters as well. I think they were expecting Enfys Nest to be rather different looking than she is. And oddly enough, I think they thought Enfys Nest was a he, but it's a different story. Enfys Nest, by the way, is one of the coolest designs of any Star Wars character, I think. Anyhow, they discovered that they actually have a lot in common and that they could be allies in a war against the Empire. Yes, we learned that Enfys Nest is one of the early rebels, or probably one of the early inspirations for the Rebel Alliance. We know from a canon book that at some point she meets with Saw Gerrera. So, then Dryden Vos appears in his yacht, and our heroes bring the coaxium to him. Now, Dryden believes that the coaxium is fake. And he believes that our heroes are going to secretly sneak off with the real coaxium. Which is apparently what Beckett believed they would do, because Beckett is secretly an informant for Dryden Vos. Well, Han, taking Beckett's earlier advice that people are predictable, knew that Beckett was going to betray them. And so he was going to make it look like that they were going to run away with the real coaxium and present fake coaxium to Dryden. Apparently, Beckett believed this ruse, and whereupon it was then discovered that the canisters out on the ground of Savareen were indeed empty, because the real coaxium was indeed presented to Dryden Vos. And then, of course, all heck breaks loose as Beckett and Kira and Han turn on Dryden Vos. After which, of course, Kira kills Dryden Vos after faking him out and making him think she was still loyal to him. Beckett, of course, intends to take the coaxium and basically steal it from Han. Han, of course, finally catches up to confront him and unfortunately has to kill Beckett, because Beckett was going to kill him. Kira, of course, stayed behind, claiming that she was going to follow Han after she had taken care of some things, upon which she contacts Darth Maul in a big twist that even I didn't know was coming, that Maul was actually the leader of Crimson Dawn. It should be noted, by the way, that Enfys Nest tells the story of Crimson Dawn causing havoc for the villagers of Savareen. Her story, oddly enough, mirrors the story of the Seven Samurai, or the Magnificent Seven. Now, the reason this is interesting is in the early Star Wars Marvel comics, one of the first storylines that was diverged, that was apart from the main storyline of the movies, was the story of Han Solo and Chewbacca rounding up a band of outlaws to help defend the village against raiders. The raiders are called the Cloud Riders. Enfys Nest's crew are also called the Cloud Riders. So I think this turn of events with the Cloud Riders, and then of course with the story of Crimson Dawn mistreating the villagers, is, I think, meant to be a direct reference to the early Marvel comics as well as a direct reference to the backstory of the Seven Samurai or the Magnificent Seven. Magnificent Seven is a Western remake of the Seven Samurai. Just a fun little side note. So a lot of stuff actually happens in Savareen. Betrayals, double crosses of double crosses. The final showdown with Vos, Beckett's betrayal, the reveal of Memphis Nest, the reveal of Darth Maul. A lot happens in Savareen. And this is when Han first is given the opportunity to join the rebellion with Memphis Nest, and he declines. And, of course, Beckett had mentioned a gangster on Tatooine putting together a crew, and the very end of the movie suggests that Han and Chewie are off to Tatooine to meet this character, who we assume is Jabba the Hutt, and this is probably how Han ends up working for Jabba in the first place. Though, mind you, this is 10 years before the original Star Wars film. Now, some people say we need a sequel. I don't know if we need a Solo 2. As I mentioned on previous podcasts, the odds of it being a theatrical film are extremely low. A Disney Plus series or movie? Maybe. There's less risk involved in making content for Disney Plus. But I don't think we necessarily need a sequel, because Star Wars has always been about dangling threads that allow us to use our imaginations to fill in the gaps. We don't need to see everything. However, would it be nice to see some of the characters and events from Solo appear in other materials? Yeah. I would be quite excited to see young Lando again, or to see, what some of the adventures of Han and Chewie. I sure would be. But I don't think we need every blank filled in on this map. Star Wars has a lot of mystery, and that's part of the fun of it. Now, Savareen as a planet is an oceany planet with a lot of beaches. It seems, kind of windy, kind of barren. I don't know if I'd want to live there. We don't really know what the temperatures are like. We know it seems that the wind is very strong. So not really my kind of place to live. I think it makes a great addition to Star Wars. I very much enjoyed the events that took place there. And I think that Solo, a Star Wars story, adds a lot of great new worlds to Star Wars, instead of constantly having us revisit the same planets. So now we have come to the end of our cataloging of the planets, at least for the time being. Next week we will begin a new topic, but I don't want to reveal what that is to give away the surprise for our Wednesdays. So my name is Brennan Moore. Thank you so much for tuning in to Page Turners They Were Not, my Star Wars podcast, where we discussed the world of Savareen. May the Force be with you.